Hello, everyone. When I was a kid, I was fascinated with superheroes. Not the characters themselves or their costume, except maybe for Wonder Woman, but rather by their powers. Fly, be invisible, spit flames. You see, talent as a topic was already on my mind back then. Then I grew up and I started searching for my superpowers, my own talents. Some say we all have one, and I couldn't find any. At that time, I wasn't even sure what I was good at. I could see in others how talented they were, though. Show my father 1 or 2 tutorials, and he builds you a house from A to Z. Leave my mom 10 minutes with any door-to-door salesman, and in the end, he's the one buying my mom's vacuum cleaner. By the time I started my professional life, I still could not find my talents. But I was okay with it. I specialized in HR and find my way there because I am mesmerized by humans, their complexity, their contradictions, and their incredible capabilities. I actually had dropped the case and forgotten about searching any of my talents. And bam! It is at this moment that my talent finally showed up. It was a year ago. I was giving a collective coaching session, large audience. However, everything seemed natural and easy. I felt I was right where I was supposed to be. I felt it, but not quite understood it. Everywhere I looked, I could see that something important was happening in people's eyes, their reactions, their nonverbal attitude, the feedbacks that I got after the session. People were actually realizing that abilities they did not even pay any attention to so far were holding a huge potential. That was magic. From that specific moment, I knew what I wanted to focus on in my job. And at the same time, here you go. Here we are. So, finding your talents is not enough. It's not easy. But it starts with a question that maybe you don't have in mind. What's a talent, by the way? A talent is defined as a natural ability or skill, an aptitude that gives you a capacity for achievement or success. It is something that comes easy for you, that you enjoy doing and are good at. A talent is not a strength, not until you invest in it. Talent is nothing but a potential. Today I help individuals and teams to discover their own talents, and that's where I would like to take you today. Talent is not just nice to have. It is not something just nice to have. If you actually want to turn it into strength, it takes work. You need to invest practice in it. So this being said, what do we do? Well, first, how many of you really know their talents? Okay, not so many. All right, no judgment here. No judgment. First, it's not a question that comes naturally to all of us. Second, self-awareness is not a given. Being aware of who we are and analyzing ourselves objectively is a challenge. It requires to be at the same time the actor and the spectator of our own life. It is not easy. But the good news is, others are here to help. Others, as long as they are benevolent, can see in you things that you would never see on your own or take ages to see. precisely because they see you from a distance that you cannot have upon yourself. So go and ask for feedback. Ask them, what makes you unique? Why do they come see you for advice or your opinion? What's the one time they were really impressed by something you did? What are you well known for? And think wide. Friends, family, colleagues, even strangers can help you see what's your special thing. If you want to turn your talents into strength, knowing your talents is the starting line. And for those of you who raised your hands and think they know their talents, it's still worth it to go and ask for some feedback. You might have insightful surprises. Now, because turning your talents into strength is actually a journey, here's a method that I designed in 3 steps to help you go through it. First, domesticate. When you discover your talents, don't expect love at first sight. I know, that never happens. Actually, every time I give a coaching session, 100% of the coaches start to denigrate, to downplay their talents right after they've discovered it. It is so frustrating to see how convinced they are that their talents are very common, futile, useless. Every day, I hear people say, yes, well, yeah, I'm organized, and so what? As if being organized was limited to making to-do lists, and as if everyone could do it well. We are never happy with what we have. And when it comes to something that's natural, easy for us, it makes it even harder to realize it holds a potential. We're not used to think that way. So, I have several tips during coaching sessions to help people realize how precious their talents are. And one of them, actually, is jealousy. I know that sounds bizarre. But actually, the thing is that when you leave 2 people in a room talking about their talents, within 5 minutes, they start to envy each other. And only then, they start to consider their own talents. Only then, they start to realize how precious this is. So, that's a good start towards domestication already. Because the step that comes right after is developing your talents. Developing your talents actually requires to bet everything on your talents and on your own talents only. Don't think it's just a gift that you just need to open and, plug and play and that's done. No. Talent alone is nothing. Not until you've developed it, worked on it. So, developing your talents really is about investing daily in it. And the thing with talent is that any of them can help you reach almost any goal, as long as you develop it properly. Let's take one example. Because what we do, all of us, when we have a goal to reach, what do? We just say, okay, what's the talents that are required to reach that goal? And if I consider that my talents are too far from those, I don't go, I quit. Go and use your talents. Work on it. Even if you think they're too far away to reach your goal. Let me give you one example. Me. Today's TEDx, in front of you. Pretty scary, trust me. If I had thought about what talents are required to do such a TEDx, I would have come up with self-assurance and stage talent. I don't have those talents. But I have my own. I'm not self-assured, but I'm really good at connecting with people. And that's where I found the support I needed to realize I could make it. I don't have stage talent, but I have empathy. And that enables me to put myself in my audience's shoes and to find, I hope, the right speech. Let's take a spectacular example that speaks for itself. Philippe Croizon. For those of you who don't know him, this man swam across the channel from England to France without arms or legs. He's a 4-amputee athlete. He had an accident at 26. Now, if he'd been asked at that time what talents are required to cross the channel, chances are he would have said, just like all of us, swimming skills, competition spirit. But to reach that goal, he obviously used different talents than the ones you could expect. He used his own talents. Things like positivity, resilience, determination. So the thing with talent is that any of them can help you reach any goal, right? As long as you invest daily. It took 2 years of training for Philippe Croizon. So next time you think or you hear a word like leadership, for example, don't compare yourself to what your brain tells you is required to be a leader. Rather ask yourself, what's your leadership style? Talking about style, that takes us to our last but not least step to turn your talents into strength. Combining your talents. So the thing is that it takes effort, right, to work on your talents and turn them into strength. There's a Latin sentence that I love. Ad augusta per angusta. This means reaching the top, taking side roads with a bit of sweat. And then, when that's done, let's say 2 of your talents are creativity and strategic thinking. Your creativity makes it easy for you to generate ideas. Your strategic thinking gives you a very clear overview of all the existing options that you have when you're facing a problem. Now, if you combine both, you will come up with a newly created and totally tailor-made option to your problem. In other words, combining your talents is a synergy effect. When you add them up, they multiply. 1 + 1 = 3. And that widens, extends the range of possibilities to infinity almost. Now, studies show that we all have 10 talents. So where does that synergy effect take you in terms of figure if you combine the 10 talents? Further than expected, probably. So there you are. You've seen the whole journey. Discover, domesticate, develop, combine your talents. When you do that, they actually turn into strength. It's like going from a seed to a fruit, from a gift to a weapon, one you can use anytime you need in full potential and full awareness to reach any of your goals. If I had one thing that I want you to live with, to have in mind when you leave that room, and to really have in mind, is the following. All that we've shared here may sound obvious sometimes, but it's not the case. There are mechanisms within us, and what we do since kindergarten, everything in our lives pushes us to focus on what's wrong with us, on the steps we miss. So what do? We invest our energy and practice in areas where we are not at our best, where we feel we should improve, trying to be good everywhere in all domains. My message is, that's a waste of time. Don't do that. Invest your time, effort, energy, belief in your natural abilities, in what's easy for you. Because that's exactly where all your potential is. And if you do that, that will take you in your own way, on your own path, to the most impossible goals. Ad Augusta, per Augusta. Thank you.